Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga-Texas construction update video. Hey everybody, I'm back out at Giga-Texas and it is Monday, but not just any Monday. This is the autumnal equinox for the northern hemisphere, and it's also the vernal equinox for the southern hemisphere. And what that basically means is that this is the equal day and night, and it's the official start of fall. So it's a really great day to be here to kind of celebrate that and get around the drone here at Giga-Texas. Now, as far as activity today, the one thing I just want to highlight is over at the end of line facility, we're seeing a lot of Cybertrucks. So it looks like production, at least today, is going strong for Cybertrucks. And another very interesting development is over on the east side at that old testing and calibration lot. We see a lot of brand new cars, including a few Cybertrucks parked there. And this is the first time I've seen that in a while, and so I'm not sure exactly what the rationale is for that, but there may be an explanation for that as we go back over to the end of line facility, particularly on the north end where the new direct delivery center is. We can see that there are a lot of cars that are being lined up for customer deliveries. Now, I've been told that they're going to try to do a very large customer delivery event here just before the end of the quarter, and that may be what they are getting ready for. So I think that's really cool. Now, speaking of ordering vehicles, whether it's Teslas or EVs, just a reminder, the federal tax credit ends at the end of 30 September. However, we've got some new information that may be helpful. If you put an order in and you are paying cash or financing the vehicle, you can have the order in before the end of 30 September and then take delivery after 30 September as long as the order is on record and the program is continued to be funded by the US government. Now, if you're leasing, you still need to take delivery by the end of this month. So just make sure you take a look at the Tesla website for the most updated information, as this is probably going to change again as the government gets closer to the end of the quarter and may make some more revisions. But it's great news if you are planning on buying a Tesla or EV and you're paying cash or financing it, you may have a little bit extra time as long as you get that order in. So that's about it for the intro. So let's get the drone in the air, let's fly around and see what it looks like on this first day of fall at Giga-Texas.
If you would like to support my efforts, please consider using these links, which will be in the video description.
If you are considering purchasing Starlink, I would recommend that you use my referral link at the bottom of the screen.
Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons on my YouTube video, as this helps as well. Thank you.
My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga-Texas. Well, good morning here on the first day of fall at Giga-Texas. We're looking from the east across the factory to the west, and I thought I would start here at the casting machine section. You can see the rack mounts and a lot of castings today. In addition to that, delivery of some of the recycling of the old wheels, as you can see in that yellow truck. And they've been doing a lot of this recycling, a lot of melting of the aluminum, making the necessary alloys that they need. And as you can also tell here, a lot of castings. And many of the ones that are in the view here are all Model Ys. And not only are they stacking them outside, but they are moving them rapidly over to the production line as well. So I think it's overall a very positive sign. Now, as we continue to fly along the east side next to these receiving doors, we see what looks like orange, possibly another bridge crane, perhaps, or some other equipment for sure that's being stored there. Next to the secondary main entrance, we see that construction entrance next to those two green bins. Of course, the platform with the trash chute, and that's allowing all that crated materials for the equipment that is coming in to be recycled. Of course, a lot more equipment is still being delivered, some on the ground at the bottom of the screen, as you can tell, and it's coming into all different parts of the factory here using all of the temporary platforms, which is a great sign for what is going on inside. Now today there is a big change right here in the old testing and calibration lot. Not only did we see the Cybertruck marked up Cybertruck getting the supercharging, but we also see many new vehicles being stored here. And this is the first time I've seen this in quite some time. Now, as I mentioned in the intro, the explanation could be that they are getting ready for a very large delivery event here at the factory before the end of the quarter. So perhaps that's why these are here. We're going to see more of them on the west side near the end of line. But this is an interesting development. Of course, as I fly around the helicopter pad, you see that old Rainmaker in the upper right and the wind tunnel at the bottom of the screen, and more of the materials. Some of the glass on the ground here at the bottom of the screen that has been used for the main factory, and it has all been moved here along with other equipment to clear up the River Road extension that you can see in the top left of the screen that we are maneuvering our way towards. Now there's a great shot of that multi-level parking garage. Still the privacy fences on the ground level, but I'm not sure what all is going on in there yet, or if it's still being used. Those fences have been there for quite some time. Now at the bottom of the screen, you can see where they've been doing more of that preparation work, including trenching for conduit to eventually connect in River Road and Robotic Avenue and provide another completed roadway for transit on this part of the factory. As we fly over the pond, I'll show you this staging yard and some of those materials that are still there. It does look like some of those green pipes have been moved off of this site, which means that they're getting ready for or being installed along the berm and the south part of River Road where they're doing the trenching. Here's a lot more equipment on the ground ready to go inside. You see some deliveries going into the receiving doors, and one right at the bottom of the screen here as well. More of the platform items and other equipment sitting here waiting for movement inside. And it looks like there's some more items that have been put on the wall next to where the window line starts to make a V. Nice shot of the cooling towers. It looks like at a smaller rate, 4 of the 6 working today. We do see that excavation near the southeast corner where the roadway is, and those orange and white dividers. And as I maneuver the drone around, a great view of the entire factory, and also at the bottom of the screen where we've been seeing all of the trenching and conduit installation. Now on the right, that has been filled in. Of course, that trenching here on that asphalt section, when I zoom in, is a great view of what is going on. And keeping with this vantage point, we can see the trench boxes at the bottom and excavation work that is continuing. Along this area is where they've filled in a lot of the trenching. They do have some extra dirt stockpiled. And of course, here is more of those trench boxes and work in this larger trench. As we continue to fly to the west, there's even more at the bottom of the screen next to the poles. Very large trench box and deep excavation underway here today, and that has been going on for a while. And it looks like it connects over towards where that caisson is in the upper left. Also, the steel I-beams making that kind of trapezoidal structure just to the north of the caisson, with one still sticking quite a ways out of the ground. But this is a great view of that area where those I-beams are being placed in. And it looks like there is some work with the crane down into the caisson as well. But for today, I'm not going to be able to see down into that caisson, but we will see the one on the other side of the road. But there's a great view of those I-beams making that kind of trapezoidal structure heading off to the north. Of course, there's more trench boxes, and some of the pipe materials all along the berm here at the kind of left-hand side of the screen. And I'll slowly bring the drone down to a little bit lower altitude, and we'll maneuver our way over towards the main entrance while we fly over the berm. And just a great view of the work that is continuing here. Another trench box being maneuvered, and that grass kind of seed matting on that berm next to the fences and where the cars are parked. Now, as I bring the drone down even lower, you can tell that all the vehicles now have been moved away from the main entrance from that event that they had a few weeks ago. And as we continue to fly over towards the exit point for the Model Ys, that's the instant of time that I flew the drone here. There were no Model Ys coming out, but they were definitely coming out of the factory here, moving their way over to the end-of-line facility and just getting ready for processing. And what we'll see over there is it looks like it's a big day for Cybertruck production, but more on that later. There is a lot of deliveries continuing here. You can tell with the trailers and the yard trucks coming over to where the 4680 cell and structural packs are built on the 3rd floor here. And the crane is very busy getting ready to lift some of these items up into that opening. And the delivery here in the truck looks like it may be possibly some structural packs. Hard to tell for sure, but you can see what that bin kind of like structure is on the inside of that truck. As we fly over the employee entrance, I wanted to show you what is going on with the recycling efforts of the aluminum or the steel cans for the 4680s, and this is what it looks like here. And that bin on the truck looks like there may be some completed batteries getting ready for recycling, which is a little bit unusual. Most of the time it's just the cans by themselves. Now I'm going to look across the highway, just give a great overall view of the west side, and we'll get some closer views of this at lower altitude momentarily, but also a nice look at that end-of-line facility, the outbound lot, and just some of the other activity that is going on there. So let's cross over the highway and resume here momentarily. As I drop down here at the Cyber Tunnel, unfortunately I didn't see any Cybertrucks coming out at this moment in time, but there were many Cybertrucks up by the end of line today, so they are definitely using that. Now I'm going to continue to fly over to where the caisson is located. Many more of the pipes being stored on the right of the screen and also on the left by the bridge. And here at the entrance or the top opening of the caisson. Now there is activity down inside. I'm going to kind of position the drone. We'll zoom in and we'll get a better view of what is going on down at the bottom of the caisson. And as I continue to try to maneuver the drone here, we can see that they have that kind of a rampway leading into where the pipe is. And it looks like they are putting in those smaller pipes inside the concrete ones. Maybe they are liners, and that is definitely a different thing that I was expecting, but that is what it definitely looks like, and that explains what those smaller pipes are. Apparently they're liners within that concrete tunnel segments. As we fly over the power lines to the staging yard, I wanted to show you that there is continuing activity with deliveries. Most of them are crates, and there's one here at the truck at the bottom of the screen. The middle truck has already been unloaded, more in this truck on the left, and many of those crates being arrayed around here on this midsection of the staging yard. And as we continue to fly around on the south side, there are many more crates along this side, some at the west side of the tent, and of course some more of those green wrapped items at the top of the screen, and silver wrapped, most likely robotic assemblers on the left of the screen. As I kind of maneuver over the tent and give you this view of those green wrapped items, I wanted to show you that there is some activity here near these transformers. Not transformers per se, but they are putting materials around the transformers, and this truck is getting ready to have even more of this material unloaded. It appears to be another wooden box and being placed here on this growing assortment of boxes, all of which is most likely production equipment waiting for their time to be moved into the factory.
I'm going to stop here momentarily over this staging yard with some of those cabinets on the bottom for the 4680s. I did want to show you the continued assembly of these what appear to be V4 superchargers. And you can see how they are these modular sections with that kind of base and 4 of the posts and 1 of the cabinets on each. There's 4 of them being made. And it looks like they are definitely intending to install them here somewhere. And I'll continue to watch out for that, and we'll find out where that will be together. The transformers here, not a lot of change. It looks like there may be one kind of in the center of the screen that's been repositioned, but otherwise those are kind of just staying here. We will see more transformers have arrived at the northeast section by the cathode building a little later in the video. This is what the outbound lot looks like today. There's been a lot of activity to transport the vehicles off the site over the weekend, and now they're gearing up for another big week and a last big push for the end of the third quarter. And of course, there is some activity at the south, those covered superchargers. Some of the Model Ys driving autonomously on these 4 lanes, as you can tell as I fly around here. And of course, more of the Cybertrucks next to the end of line and on the north end. Now, a little bit earlier, I saw about a dozen or so Cybertrucks entering into the end of line facility. And that's a nice grouping that is more than we've seen in a while. Now, at the Direct Delivery Center with the Tesla logo, it looks like they are preparing for that big Direct Delivery event on the right-hand side of the screen where the old track is. We can tell that they have a lot of vehicles lined up in those delivery lanes and more of them here to the south. So combining this with what we saw over on the east side, really suggests to me that they are getting ready for that big event, and hopefully that will be here very soon, right at the maybe end of the week or on the weekend. So I'm going to continue to fly up to the north over this staging yard and these 2 tents, and it looks like there's a delivery that's going on in this location. As we continue to fly back over this connecting road, I wanted to get a look at some of the workshops, some materials here, and of course those everlasting Evapco fan units and bases. I'm hoping we're going to see those used at some point, but they're still stored here. Of course, most of the steel is been stored here, been used for the mezzanine construction inside the factory. And then here, there's some interesting deliveries, a very large trailer on that truck, and many of the transport vehicles that are parked here waiting for hopefully a big use of these in the next quarter, perhaps as we start seeing new products. And still waiting to find out what that's going to be. I know a lot of people have been asking. It looks like maybe they're just going to wait another week or 2 before they start making announcements to make sure that they get the third quarter completed. So this is a great view across this main intersection and the north bridge to the factory. We'll cross over and resume here on the north part of the factory. As we fly over some of that area that had the earthwork, I wanted to stop and show you that they are still bringing items up onto the platforms here at the 4680. I did notice a large delivery being made at the top of the highest platform just before I got the drone back here. And of course, more deliveries at the plastics machine section, the stands for the painting of the bumpers. And here is just another large array of castings that are being stored on the northeast corner. And most of these are Cybertrucks or Cybercabs. Of course, the casting sorting lot is full of rack mounts right now, and they are continuing the excavation work and conduit installation here, just where they have the opening in the fence and kind of paralleling Tesla Road. So I'll bring the drone up to a higher altitude. We'll pass over the power lines once again and bring the drone back down near the Megapack 2. And we can get a good sense of what is going on today, most of which is the work is at the trailer here on the north end, doing more of the final connections of the cables. Looks like there may be a generator there. Perhaps it's being used for welding. It's hard to tell for sure. And a spare transformer. As we get to the Switchyard, we can tell that the two underground vaults and that connecting tunnel haven't changed a whole lot, although they did backfill in the rest of the ground and put some gravel around that vault. Here on the north end, more work on the footing construction. We see the augers at work making the holes, the rebar cages at the bottom of the screen for that concrete pile that they'll be building. And then, of course, some of the footings have had the concrete poured already, and they continue to work from the south to the north. And a lot of rebar cages are being built and a lot of space left to be done. You can tell on the ground there's a lot of little dots, and that's where they've already done some of the either the drilling or where they are going to be doing the drilling. And some steel items have been delivered on the right-hand side of the screen. So yeah, with all those green dots, you can get a sense of how many more that they have to do to prepare for those footings. Now next to the Cortex 2 facility, we see the work with the underground pipes. Looks like they are electing to use mostly concrete pipes through this section. That suggests that there will be something on top of it that are a little bit more heavy, maybe some construction, rather than using the steel corrugated pipe. And here is where it will connect in and empty into the water detention pond. More earthwork here as they continue to raise the grade up. On the perimeter grade beam, we can see those kind of black marks. That looks like they are preparing it for backfilling the dirt all the way in. And we can see another concrete pipe segment and a vault being installed here next to this receiving door. But with all those black marks on the perimeter grade beam, that does give us an idea that they're going to be raising up the grade quite a bit. The roof work continues. I'll give you this view right now of how they're installing more of the underlayment and then the insulation panels before the weatherproof membrane is placed. And once they get that section done, they'll be about 3/4 of the way completed with the building. I'm going to pull away just a moment just to show you the north end and what this looks like today. Of course, that new drainage ditch on the left and the staging yard with all the pipe segments here on the north end. There is work on that west side opening inside where the grade is higher, and looks like they're filling in some of the trenching. And of course, this opening shows more of the trenching with pipes sticking up. And the mounts on the ground, which may be for the roof, and I'll just continue to watch how that develops. Bring the drone back down here over the staging yards. Looking inside these openings, you can tell that the utility trenching and pipe work is well underway, but at this part of the building, we don't see the yellow moisture barriers or preparations for the ground slab quite yet. However, as we continue to fly to the south along this side, and we get past this platform with the trash chutes, if we look inside, there is a large layer of yellow weatherproof moisture barrier placed, and that means that they are getting very close to pouring the slab in that section. They just finished up the perimeter grade beam at the base of this opening, and that will be filled in, and then they'll continue that slab all the way through this section. And I'll show you some more looks inside the Cortex 2 here in a little bit later in the video. But I wanted to turn here, just show you where we are in relation to the die shop on the right, that north end with the exterior furnace and some of the equipment that's being stored here, and the chiller plant, which shows a lot of frost on those vaporizers on the right-hand side of the screen. So that is a great sign that they are doing work with this in the inside of the cathode building. As I turn back, I'll fly along this section, just showing where the dirt is stored on these kind of temporary dirt storage areas and the silt fence, and looking up to the north where a lot of that dirt is coming from in the upper left-hand side of the screen. And they continue to do excavation work in that location. As I turn around here where we see some of the materials and pipe segments stored, I wanted to show you some more deliveries have just happened here with that yellow truck. You can see those items here on the ground. In addition to what we see here, the transformers have once again increased in size. I think we're now at about 42 of them here, and those numbers continue to increase. So there's 3 different areas with a lot of transformers still being stockpiled here at Giga-Texas. The weight pit is empty. which is both good because it doesn't have all that water that's getting algae and mosquitoes, but it's bad. It just says that they're not using it for a whole lot. As I zoom in at the crash testing facility, this gives you a sense of all of the vehicles that are here that have been or prepared for crash testing on the right-hand side of the screen. Looks like there's a Model 3 on the inside here. I'll zoom in so you can get a view of that. And it just looks like just regular work going on the inside. Now on the side of the crash testing facility, looks like we have about 11 or 12 cars that are covered with tarps. Some of the tarps looks like they may have blown off, and they've added more tarps on top using tires to keep them from blowing off. And of course, more of the vehicles on the right that have had that crash testing completed. And I'll just zoom back out, kind of maneuver around here, and try to give you a view on the east side, looking back at the main factory, and as I continue to maneuver the drone, a view onto the south end of the crash testing facility. And once again, I will zoom in. We can see the crash testing wall is in place. There is a vehicle that looks like it is either had crash testing or about to be crash tested. It's kind of dark, so it's hard to tell for sure, even with the zoom in, but this is what it looks like here on the inside. And as I zoom back out, the view of the left-hand side of the crash testing facility with all of those vehicles again. So I'll bring the drone back up and we'll reposition over and take a look at the Cortex 2 here one more time. As we fly in this direction towards Cortex 2, at the bottom of the screen, looks like 3 more Transformers are arriving, and that will just continue to build those numbers that we were just talking about. Speaking of Transformers, here on the southeast corner of the facility, you can see one of them has been installed here. It's a smaller version, and it looks like there's a vault next to it with fencing around it. And just kind of maneuver here so you can see what this looks like. In addition to that, I noticed that there are deliveries in the open receiving door. Those are electrical cabinets, and it's part of the, or one of the first big deliveries of equipment being installed inside, and this will be for part of the electrical system that will help power this entire facility. As I kind of wrap around the side here, you can tell that workers are doing some work on the perimeter grade beam here, which is a lot lower than the one on the west side. And much of the slab here has already been poured. And a nice view inside, and with the worker, you get a good sense of the scale. As we continue to maneuver towards the north here, the door on the left shows the concrete slab has extended through this location. But then once we get to here, we can see the yellow moisture barrier, and that's where the slab will be poured next. One more look at the work going on the roof here from the opposite side. A lot of the insulation materials that are stockpiled here under the covers, where they are actively installing some of that underlayment and the insulation panels right now, and just what the rest of this looks like today. So that'll be about it for our time to look around Giga-Texas on this video. I'll bring the drone up to a higher altitude. We'll look back to the west with downtown Austin in the upper left-hand side of the screen, and a great kind of context view to kind of get an idea of all the places that we visited today and where they are all in relation to each other. As always, thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. Hoping for a great end of the third quarter coming up. And as always, I appreciate you watching along. Take care.